Hello, everyone. My guest today is Brian Petro. He's been developing software for many years, and over the past 5 years, he's been developing a system for curating niche industry content, curating newsletters and social media in the Angular and React niches, enabled AngularJobs.com. He's now excited about creating SaaS that enables small businesses to utilize their lists by automatically delivering content. Brian, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do it.
All right, you know how aggressive I am, so why the hell did you agree to come on?
Trust me, I've been questioning myself since I made the decision.
No, but your name was familiar. It sounds like you were back with me in the Lejour and Heyo days, huh?
Yes, way back. So I was actually still in college, and me and my friend, we were on your webcam. You were selling amazingly, like you do.
I'm always selling.
Yeah, so we purchased Lejour, and we took our shot at making some Facebook apps. That was way back.
Yeah,
things that aren't even around anymore.
That's crazy. Well, dude, yeah. It's nice to reconnect you. Okay, so update us. What's AngularJobs.com? What's it doing? How are you making money?
So Angular Jobs is a little side project I made almost 7 years ago now. I was, teaching myself to code, and at the time I was just building out projects, and this little job board took off. And at the time, I was reading about the 1,000 true fans, and I'm like, oh, if I can just get 10,000 social media followers, I can turn this into literally anything I want, whether it starts as a job board or something else. I was just ambitious about, growing an audience. And today, Angular Jobs is the largest social media following in the Angular niche. It is similar in the React niche. And that's kind of what drives me to be able to pursue that service, which is the newsletter service, which I guess we'll talk more about.
Well, yeah. So which one are you making money on, Angular Jobs or the newsletter service?
So that's a great question. Basically, the newsletter is kind of what drives Angular Jobs. So I almost look at Angular Jobs as like the first customer of my newsletter service. But where the money comes in, it's actually through like a service business provided by Angular Jobs, which is similar to what people know of as job postings. But because this is such a social media ingrained business, it's almost more of a service than just purchase a job post and put it out there. Because I do a lot more with engagements with the audience, to get them familiar with these jobs.
Yep. No, okay. So first off, I love that you have the distribution channel, but you also own the product. I think it's really critical. In fact, I think distribution these days is more important than the product. So what is the newsletter site?
So the newsletter site right now is icymi.email. So that's like, in case you missed it, .email. And the vision there is basically for users to come. And when I say users, I'm talking about owners of businesses, maybe coaches.
Wait, hold on, Brian. Start with the juicy stuff. How many people are subscribed?
So subscribed, since the start of the newsletter, I've had tens of thousands of subscribers subscribed to various topics. And that would primarily be with Angular. Then I brought in the React
How
topic.
many are on the Angular one specifically?
So right now I've churned a whole lot of them because that was getting really costly for me. So right now we have 1,000 subscribers that get the newsletter every single day.
And what was it at its
versions
peak?
were weekly, and I've had as many as 15, 20, and even 30,000 subscribers to a weekly newsletter.
And how many total subscribers across all the newsletters under icymi.email?
At the moment, it's most of them have been churned out while I kind of am getting ready for this next launch, which is less of me managing all the newsletters. So if you want hard numbers, it's in, the less than 5,000 total subscribers. But this was a push for daily newsletters, which, I'll save some people some time out there. People don't want daily newsletters for the most part, but that was great for me figuring out how I could leverage my technology.
Yep. Good to hear. So, okay, walk us through the revenue model, Angular Jobs.
So Angular Jobs, it's, your traditional job board is you get traffic to the web page and you sell, basically advertisements for a fixed cost for being put up on the job board. Angular Jobs is similar, except for in addition to the job board, we have these large social media networks and channels, including the largest Angular group on LinkedIn, the largest news channel on Twitter for Angular. And the jobs are also distributed on these channels in a very engaging way.
Yep.
So Yeah.
But be specific, right? So over the past, call it 12 months, how much have you made from Angular jobs?
So in the past month, I've made a little over 2,000 from the job post specifically, and then using some is like ZipRecruiter, where I'm advertising additional jobs that aren't people coming to the job board directly. That's between 500 and 1,000 a month.
Okay, that's great. So 500,000. So okay, but would you consider Angular Jobs a SaaS company or no? Is it recurring and predictable or no?
Absolutely not. Unfortunately, Angular Jobs is more of a service company that's heavily reliant on automation. So a lot of my background is in development. I've been developing things for myself, tools, since I was a kid, really. So I'm using tons of software, and there's a huge opportunity for SaaS, and that's where my heart is, and that's what's coming with the newsletter is a pure SaaS play, which I'm really excited about. Which unfortunately, as you know and you're well aware of, the best SaaS plays actually bring in service, now. So I'm really seeing this new SaaS as being even a freemium model with a very high end service option to kind of fund it.
Yep. No, that all makes good sense. So let me dive into some of the economics here. So you only make money, I assume, when a job is facilitated through Angular Jobs, right? Is it a percent, like an origination fee kind of?
So actually right now they're paying basically an advertising fee.
Okay.
So, the companies come, and if they want their job on my channels, then they're going to pay upfront.
Okay. And so if someone's listening right now going, I want to hire Angular developers, what would you charge them? Let's say they want to do 5 over the next year. So
for one job post, it is $500, and that's for 90 days. And at this moment, you're going to get an amazing deal because I'm putting my own time, not just distributing the jobs, which I have help from with my assistant, but I'm actually reviewing the jobs and giving very quality feedback about how I can make the jobs perform better. Since I've been doing this for 7 years, I get job posts that just to me look horrendous. And with the checklist that I've developed over the past, years, I'm able to quickly get these jobs up to speed. So,
and have you funded this stuff with your own capital, or have you raised?
100% bootstrapped.
Yeah, I love that. And how many folks are on the team today?
So it's just me and my assistant.
Okay, so 2 of you guys.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, how do you grow this into like, $1 million a year business?
Great question. So what really drove this business were those newsletters we talked about in the beginning. And in this time, I've really been using the funds to further develop the system where, some may call it like a reinforcement machine learning type of system. Basically, I've gotten pretty good at curating news and in almost like a Tinder-like fashion, being like, this should be in the newsletter, this shouldn't be in the newsletter, this shouldn't. And over time, I get delivered to me like a quality newsletter before I even ever curate using that Tinder-like apparatus. So
wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean you get a newsletter delivered to you before you curate?
Yeah, so I mentioned I'm big on the automation. So yep. I have automation set up, and that sends me content every day. Right now, that sends content to my daily newsletter subscribers. The future SaaS that I mentioned with the ICYMI.email is going to enable people to come to the website, sign up, just put in their email, upload their brand image, and then as simple as that, they swipe right, swipe left, for articles that they think should be in their newsletter. And then I spit them out a subscribe page. It shows, hey, sign up here for Nathan Latka's newsletter.
It'd be a damn good newsletter.
Yeah, and all you have to do is each day you say swipe left, swipe right to a few pieces of content, and then weekly I'm delivering a newsletter with your brand at the top. Nathan Latka says you should read these things. Curated by Nathan Latka.
So Brian, you are essentially making this easy for like this whole curator world. You're basically putting curation on steroids.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
a great way to look at it.
Yeah. See, I think I think what's tricky about this is like, so we do a daily newsletter and it works extremely well. You'd think it wouldn't, but it actually does work well. And by well, I mean, I want to be specific, right? So we've got about 10,000 people on that. We get on average between like a 25 and 35% open rate. And we'll drive anywhere between like 400 and 700 clicks per day, but it's all hyper focused on B2B SaaS. And the tricky thing is those daily emails are a combination of unique content that I've collected at the top and then curated stuff below. Does your model or your tool work where they can still customize it, or will they only be able to customize their branding at the top, their logo?
At first, I want to make it as easy as possible. So people are just going to upload their brand and they're going to see that they have a newsletter in 5 minutes. In time, that's where the higher level service comes in and where I see we can make a lot of money with much larger institutions by providing them that extra customization.
Yeah. So what is the, I'm a little confused, and I think maybe there's a story here why you churned out on purpose all these people subscribed to your other list. I mean, that is a brilliant distribution channel. Were you getting too many spam requests? Was the IP kind of shut down or degraded over time because it was so aggressive, or like what actually happened there? You wouldn't just give those emails up.
Yeah, so that's a great question.
You can be honest. This is Truth Circle,
answers.
except 100,000 other people are listening in, so no pressure.
Okay. So a year and a half ago, me and my partner, we were working on Angular jobs in addition to another SaaS startup, which was called Linkplug. Basically, it was this idea of putting an interstitial inside of a link. Like you shorten the link, there's an interstitial, and you can get, traffic by sharing other people's content. That kind of full circles back to why I was curating things, because I wanted to get these link plugs in things that I was sharing with the world, so they would see what we were working on. And, that didn't work out. Me and him, we were fresh out of college and we were just like, we're going to go full time on this thing. He was able to secure like maybe 3 to 5 months of an apartment. And, that just wasn't enough time for us to get things going. And we started realizing that towards the end, right around the same time, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And that was like a rough couple years. So, what ended up happening is, the Mailchimp bill was like $400 to $500 a month. And that was super stressful. A little bit later, my dad passed and I was fortunate to get a small amount of money. And at that time, like I was just so overwhelmed with the, bills that were coming in from Mailchimp. And, like everything was just such a mess. I just, kind of crashed and burned with my friend. Fortunately, our relationship survived. We're super excited about working on something in the future. He's getting his medical doctorate right now. So like we're super excited about what he can do with that and our entrepreneurship. I was really lucky to come out of the situation. Like I said, I got a little bit of money, and for the past year, that enabled me to really dive into the books and like focus on self-development. And it's actually like just now that I'm like at the start of getting things back in order, so like I think Angular jobs is, now that's almost become like my practice business, not just for practicing the SaaS, but also practicing business myself. So
it's a great testing ground, and I appreciate you sharing that story. I know obviously that must have been extremely tough, but I guess the blessings inside of that is it forces you to like double down and refocus on what matters and what counts. And now you have this beautiful testing ground you're learning in, and I'm sure your dad is rooting, going, "All right, Brian, keep learning, build."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very good. So do you think Angular jobs is what you'll build on over the next 5 to 10 years, or are you kind of, that's your learning ground and you're kind of marinating some other ideas you might launch here shortly?
So it's definitely not a 5 to 10 year business. Unfortunately, because of the niche it's in, these technology niches, they come and go, and you can't even predict when a new technology is going to come in and disrupt, the older technology. But whether it can sustain itself for 5 to 10 years, that's betting on Google, the ones that are behind this Angular technology. And so I think that's a good bet. As far as my personal time being spent, I think that it's not a 5 to 10 year plan. I think it's much, much closer to like a 1 year plan, getting this thing wrapped up so that this SaaS, this newsletter SaaS, can really be displayed well working with Angular jobs.
Yep. Very good. All right, Brian, let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Hey, let's you just broke up a little bit.
That's cool. What's your favorite business book?
Can you restart the top 5? Favorite business book is Poor Charlie's Almanac. Without a doubt.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
So I just read Eric Schmidt's $1 Trillion Coach, and that was amazing. Highly recommended.
Number 3, what is your favorite online tool for building a company?
Somewhere between Hugin and Zapier. Hugin is like the open source code version of Zapier, which I'm sure plenty of people are familiar with.
Number 4, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
At least 8. Last night it was 8.5.
And what's your situation? Married, single, kids?
So I've been with my beautiful girlfriend for 11 years now. She has reminded me it wasn't 10, it was 11. And she's basically kept me going this whole time. You know, without her, I wouldn't get my sleep. I wouldn't get my amazing food.
But no kids yet.
No kids.
All right. And how old are you?
In the near future.
And how old are you, Brian?
28.
28. Okay. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
So I wish that I knew that I needed to give myself permission to practice business, you know, instead of jumping in and trying to find that life's work, you know, that everybody wants.
Guys, there you have it. AngularJobs.com, a big email list and job board for hiring highly specific developers from Brian, again, who's using it really to practice business, and then obviously takes a cut when he helps people land jobs. But he sees this as a testing ground for his next big SaaS idea, which he's actively working on. Brian, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you, Nathan. You're awesome.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it, and the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.